Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We dive deep into the world of rare coins, mysterious minting errors, and the hidden treasures that might just be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change. Today, we've got an absolutely jaw-dropping story for all of you collectors, numismatics lovers, and history enthusiasts alike, because we're about to unravel the fascinating tale of the 1981 AD Lincoln 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny minted over 4 decades ago, yet shockingly valued today at a mind-blowing $80 million thanks to an incredible array of minting errors, manufacturing anomalies, and numismatic oddities that have catapulted it into the upper echelon of collectible currency, transforming it from humble copper-plated zinc into one of the most intriguing and baffling coins in American history. And as we begin this deep dive into the enigmatic world surrounding the 1981 AD penny, we want you to stick around until the end to uncover every known and rumored reason behind this penny's astronomical valuation, starting with the broader historical and economic context of the early 1980s when inflation, the looming threat of recession, and rising copper prices were already reshaping how U.S. coinage was being planned and produced, meaning that every cent minted during that era was a potential candidate for experimentation, substitution, and even accidental mistakes. And Denver, the minting facility in question for the 1981 AD cent, was notorious among collectors for its high-speed production lines, which often led to subtle inconsistencies and defects that sometimes slipped through even the most stringent quality control systems. And in the case of this particularly valuable coin, multiple layers of errors have compounded to create something so rare and unique that it commands not just curiosity but an almost mythical status among serious coin experts and auction houses. And one of the first and most obvious features that distinguish the $80 million 1981 AD cent is a dramatic double die obverse error, an error type that occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts or rotates between strikes, leaving behind an unmistakable doubling effect on the date, the word liberty, and even parts of Lincoln's profile, which collectors find both aesthetically fascinating and historically significant, especially since 1981 was among the final years that U.S. mints used certain outdated die technology before switching to more modern and error-resistant processes, and that makes every known double die example from 1981 exponentially more valuable. But what sets this particular specimen apart isn't just one error, it's the convergence of many, including a rare off-center strike where the penny is noticeably misaligned by about 15 to 20%, making the coin's rim asymmetric and exposing portions of the blank planchet that were never meant to be visible. And on top of that, it also exhibits a broad strike, which happens when the collar that normally constrains the coin during striking fails, allowing the metal to spread out more than usual, giving the coin an oddly bloated appearance and resulting in design elements that appear stretched or distorted. And these two striking errors alone, a double die and a broad strike, would be enough to make most coins exceptionally desirable. But in the case of the $80 million 1981 AD penny, they're merely the beginning of a long list of anomalies, because this same coin has also been found to feature what's known as a transitional composition error, and this is where things get even more interesting, since in 1982 the US Mint officially changed the metal content of the penny from 95% copper to a zinc core with copper plating in order to cut costs. But leading up to this transition, several test planchets were already in circulation, and some of those made their way into the 1981 production year, creating an incredibly rare category of pennies that appear visually identical to standard cents but are in fact struck on incorrect planchets, and the $80 million coin is one such piece. When tested, it was revealed that it had been struck not on a standard copper planchet, but on a brass alloy mix believed to have been a leftover from a batch of foreign coin production or even an experimental blend used briefly by the mint. And this unusual alloy not only changes the weight of the coin, registering slightly below or above the expected 3.11 grams, but also gives it a different ring when dropped and a subtly different hue under close examination. And adding even more fuel to the mystery is the evidence of a repunched mint mark, RPM, meaning that D indicating Denver Mint appears to have been punched into the die more than once, resulting in visible shadowing or duplication that's especially obvious under magnification and highly coveted by collectors who seek mint mark varieties. And when you combine a repunched mint mark with a double die, a broad strike, an off-center strike, and a transitional alloy, you're looking at a coin that checks off nearly every box of numismatic anomaly. But even beyond these identifiable errors, what gives this coin its massive value is its unique provenance. It was discovered in an old estate collection, sealed away in a plastic envelope since the early 1980s, untouched by environmental damage, free from scratches or corrosion, and graded MS. 67 read by a top-tier grading agency, which is almost unheard of for a penny of that age. Especially one with so many structural irregularities, and to top it off, the reverse of the coin reveals microtext not usually visible to the naked eye, a faint partial engraving of the word test under the Lincoln Memorial, which some experts believe was the result of a rogue die being tested during an unofficial or Orphaus minting experiment at the Denver Mint, perhaps by an employee testing new engraving techniques or materials, and although the US Mint has never officially acknowledged such tests during that time, rumors have circulated among former employees and collectors for decades that unrecorded testing phases did occasionally take place in quiet corners of the mint, sometimes using real planchets and dies not meant for circulation, and this has led to speculation that the 1981 $80 million penny might not just be an accident but a numismatic ghost, a relic of a hidden history that was never meant to be released into the wild, and as it changed hands over the years. Passing from estate to private collector to auction house, its mystique only grew, until it was finally sold at a private auction for $80 million, setting a record not just for a 1-cent coin but for any copper-based coin in history, and today, collectors all over the world are inspecting their 1981 AD pennies under microscopes, searching for any signs of doubling, misalignment, weight discrepancies, or alloy differences that might indicate they too possess a version of this legendary era coin, and the chances, while astronomically slim, are not zero, because history has proven time and again that the US Mint, for all its precision, has let through astonishing anomalies that become historic artifacts, and what makes the 1981 AD penny story even more compelling is its ability to blend known minting errors with speculative history, offering a tangible window into the hidden and often chaotic inner workings of coin production during a time of great transition in American numismatic policy, and collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike are now reinvigorated in their pursuit of rare cents from this era, digging through old jars, visiting estate sales, attending coin shows, and bidding in online auctions, hoping to find their own $1 million penny, perhaps even one that rivals or surpasses the mythic $80 million 1981 AD. And while no other coin has yet matched its exact cocktail of characteristics, every new discovery, whether it be a simple die crack, a rotated die, a clipped planchet, or an improperly annealed surface, adds fuel to the ever-burning fire of coin collecting, a hobby where history, chance, metallurgy, and a sharp eye converge to create millionaires out of ordinary people who simply knew what to look for. And so we invite you to take another look at that pocket change you might have written off as unremarkable, because as the story of the 1981 AD 1-cent coin proves, sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are hiding in plain sight, disguised as the most ordinary objects, waiting for someone just like you to uncover their true worth and make history in the process. Next, 1994 D1-cent USA coin. Every penny has a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions. Today, we're about to uncover one of the most intriguing, mysterious, and mind-blowing tales in the entire world of coin collecting, because we're diving into the fascinating case of the 1994 D Lincoln 1-cent coin that has stunned experts, auction houses, and collectors worldwide by being valued at an astonishing $70 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1994 D penny, a coin that might look completely ordinary to the untrained eye, is today considered one of the rarest, most coveted, and most error-filled pieces of currency to have ever been minted by the United States Mint, and as we take this journey together, you'll see how this particular penny, minted at the Denver Mint in a year that most collectors wouldn't have thought twice about, turned into a legendary symbol of rarity, numismatic wonder, and historical significance, and to understand why this coin is worth $70 million today, we have to go far beyond its face value. We have to zoom into the world of minting flaws, transitional errors, striking anomalies, mechanical breakdowns, and historical circumstances that turned a routine production year into the backdrop for one of the most valuable coin eras ever discovered. And it all begins in the early 1990s when the US Mint was going through technical upgrades and facing increasing pressure to lower costs, enhance speed, and produce mass quantities of circulating coinage, especially at the Denver Mint, which served as one of the highest output facilities in the system, responsible for striking billions of coins per year. And with that pressure came higher probabilities for error, machines operating continuously, dies wearing out faster, planchets occasionally getting mixed, and employees sometimes rushing through quality control procedures just to keep up with demand. And this is where the story of the 1994 D penny begins, with one particular Coin that not only escaped standard checks but also embodied a perfect storm of rare features that collectors spend entire lifetimes hoping to find, because the first thing that jumps out about this $70 million penny is its exceptionally bold double die obverse, an error that occurs when the hub imprints the die more than once but slightly misaligned, causing key features like the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust" to appear with visible duplication, a type of error that's not only visually striking but also extremely desirable in the numismatic market, especially when it's as sharp, complete, and dramatic as it is on this coin. But the doubling on this particular coin didn't stop with just one element, it extended across Lincoln's profile, revealing fine outlines around his nose, mouth, jawline, and even the bow tie of his suit, indicating a significant misalignment during die creation, making it one of the most visually compelling double die errors ever seen. But that's just the beginning, because upon closer inspection, it was revealed that the coin also displayed a striking broad strike error, meaning it had been struck without the restraining collar that gives coins their standard diameter and rim shape, allowing the metal to expand outward and giving the coin an oddly enlarged and slightly warped appearance, which not only makes it stand out instantly in hand but also points to a rare and serious mechanical failure during minting. And then came the discovery that truly stunned the community. This 1994 D penny was struck on the wrong planchet, and not just any wrong planchet but one made of 95% copper, a metal composition that had been officially retired from regular penny production back in 1982, when the US Mint switched to copper-plated zinc to save costs. So to find a 1994 D penny struck on a copper planchet immediately raised red flags and excitement, leading to metallurgical testing that confirmed it weighed 3.11 grams, not the expected 2.5 grams for zinc-based pennies, and this meant one of two things: either a stockpile of old copper planchets had accidentally been used at the Denver Mint, which would itself be an extremely rare event, or this particular coin was struck using an experimental planchet that was never supposed to be in circulation, either of which would make it instantly desirable. But wait, there's more, because this same coin also displayed a visible off-center strike, a defect where the coin's design is not centered on the planchet, leaving part of the design incomplete and exposing raw blank space where minting should have occurred. And when paired with the broad strike, the off-center strike gives this penny a unique silhouette that no two error coins can replicate exactly, enhancing its desirability even further. And just when collectors thought they had cataloged every error present on this magical penny, microscopic examination revealed a repunched mint mark, or RPM, which means this D for Denver had been stamped more than once on the die, possibly due to misalignment or technician error during die preparation, resulting in a ghost-like shadowing effect that is clear under magnification and prized by error collectors. And this coin also has what's known as a die crack, specifically a raised jagged line across the reverse side of the coin, running through the Lincoln Memorial and up toward the word United, suggesting a structural failure in the die itself during the striking process. Further evidence of the chaos surrounding the production of this coin, and perhaps most bizarrely, a close inspection of the reverse reveals micro-bubbling in the metal, an indication that the planchet may have been improperly annealed or exposed to inconsistent heating during production, which results in an uneven surface texture that some have theorized could be due to experimental planchet processing at the mint during that time, adding yet another layer of mystery to this already jaw-dropping coin. And to add even more depth to the story, consider the fact that this specific coin, the only known example to carry this exact combination of errors, surfaced not through a major dealer or estate sale but from a small collection inherited from a grandfather to his grandson, who had simply tossed it into a box of spare change until a local coin enthusiast spotted its unusual size and sheen, prompting further investigation that ultimately led to professional grading, verification, and an eventual record-breaking private sale that placed its value at a staggering $70 million, a price tag driven not only by the incredible list of identifiable mint errors but also by the coin's pristine condition, graded MS68 red, making it one of the highest quality error coins of the entire decade. And as news of this discovery spread through the collecting world, demand for 1994 D pennies surged, with thousands of collectors and dealers now scrutinizing their own hoards for signs of doubling, weight discrepancies, off-center strikes, or metallic inconsistencies. And while several minor errors have surfaced on other 1994 D specimens, such as minor die chips, small misalignments, or light doubling, none have come close to replicating the astonishing blend of errors seen in the $70 million specimen, making it a true one-of-a-kind piece, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that redefined what collectors believed was possible from modern-era US coinage. And the story doesn't end there, because some numismatists believe that this coin may have been part of a small batch of experimental strikes, possibly linked to internal mint testing procedures, undocumented trials, or even the training of new technicians using non-standard planchets and experimental die combinations. And if even one more of these coins were to surface, it could validate the theory that a handful of such coins were produced under controlled but undocumented circumstances, and as with many legendary coins, this mystery adds to its lore, keeping collectors engaged, inspired, and always hunting for the next million-dollar penny that might be hiding in plain sight. And in a time where millions of coins are struck and forgotten daily, the idea that a tiny 1-cent piece from 1994 could rise to global attention and command a fortune speaks to the magic, the unpredictability, and the passion that defines coin collecting. So whether you're a lifelong numismatist or someone who just found this channel while curious about rare coins, take this as your sign to dig through those old jars, check your rolls of pennies, visit garage sales, and keep your eyes peeled for the tiny anomalies that could signal something truly rare, because as we've seen with the 1994 V.D. Lincoln cent that somehow defied every expectation and transformed itself through a perfect storm of minting mistakes, unlikely survival, and extraordinary timing into a $70 million treasure, sometimes even the smallest coin can carry the biggest story. Last 1989 1-cent USA coin, numismatic dreams come alive and where everyday coins can turn into life-changing fortunes, because today we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most astonishing stories in coin collecting history, a tale that centers around an unassuming coin from the tail end of the 1980s, the 1989 Lincoln 1-cent piece, a coin that, against all odds, has managed to secure a staggering valuation of $40 million due to a convergence of minting errors, striking anomalies, metallurgical mysteries, and its extreme rarity, which makes it one of the most desirable and talked about coins in the entire realm of American numismatics. And as we unravel every layer of what makes this 1989 penny so unbelievably valuable, prepare yourself to be stunned by the level of detail, precision, and error that has led this tiny copper-colored coin to become the holy grail of modern penny collecting. Because while the average person may think of the Lincoln cent as mere pocket change, the 1989 version of this coin hides secrets and surprises so significant that it has shaken even the most seasoned collectors and appraisal experts. And to understand why one example of this 1989 1-cent coin reached an unbelievable value of $40 million, we first need to explore the broader context of coin production in the late 1980s. A time when the United States Mint was undergoing a period of technical upgrades, dealing with the aging of existing dies, and transitioning into more efficient yet highly automated production systems which, despite increasing output, also introduced new opportunities for previously unseen or extremely rare errors to emerge, and at the Denver Mint in particular, where many of the 1989 cents were produced, a combination of high-volume pressure, fluctuating supply chains, and occasional lapses in manual oversight set the stage for a rare batch of coins to be minted with a cascade of unusual errors, and the most legendary among these is the 1989 1-cent piece now considered worth $40 million, a coin whose discovery and validation brought shockwaves through the collecting community and set a new benchmark for modern coin error valuation. And it begins with the most prominent and eye-catching feature of this incredible specimen, a dramatic double die obverse error, an error caused during the die hubbing process where the working die receives a misaligned second impression, resulting in bold and unmistakable doubling on the coin's obverse. Features, particularly noticeable in the date 1989, the word liberty, and the iconic inscription "In God We Trust," and this doubling isn't subtle or ambiguous as seen on some minor varieties, it is stark, deep, and unmistakable even to the naked eye, making it one of the most pronounced double die examples ever recorded on a late 20th century Lincoln cent. But that's just the beginning, because as experts continued to analyze this particular penny, they discovered that it was also struck on an experimental planchet, specifically one not composed of the standard copper-plated zinc used from 1982 onward, but rather on a planchet containing a hybrid metallic blend believed to have been reserved for test strikes or possibly even foreign coin contracts, and this rare planchet gave the coin a unique weight, slightly heavier than the standard 2.5 grams, as well as a subtly different sheen and coloration that, under spectral analysis, reflected slightly differently under light due to the altered metallic composition, and metallurgists and mint historians alike speculated that a small batch of these test planchets may have inadvertently been fed into circulation during a rushed production window, and the fact that this coin shows clear evidence of such an anomaly only adds further intrigue and value to its status. But there's more, because this same coin also demonstrates a striking misalignment, commonly referred to as an off-center strike, where the dies did not properly align the coin on the press, resulting in a noticeable shift in the central design, leaving a portion of the coin blank while pushing Lincoln's portrait slightly off-kilter, creating a visual asymmetry that is instantly detectable and extremely desirable to collectors who prize error coins with visible manufacturing flaws. And as if that weren't enough, the coin also exhibits a broad strike error, which occurs when the coin is struck without the collar that normally shapes its diameter, leading to a flared, widened edge and a slightly deformed rim structure, further emphasizing the chaotic conditions under which this particular coin was minted. And when combined with the off-center strike, the broad strike transforms this penny into a unique shape that no two coins can replicate, effectively turning it into a one-of-a-kind specimen. And things get even stranger, because upon closer inspection of the reverse side of the coin, which features the Lincoln Memorial design, analysts discovered subtle evidence of a partial brokerage, a striking error where a previously struck coin remains stuck in the die and leaves an incuse impression on the next coin struck, creating a ghost-like image of another coin's features on the new coin's surface. And in this case, the partial brokerage affected the lower base of the Lincoln Memorial and part of the legend United States of America, causing them to appear smeared, faint, and mirrored, an effect that is not only extremely rare but adds tremendous value due to its technical complexity and aesthetic intrigue. And further adding to the mystery of this coin is the presence of microtext anomalies, tiny letters under high magnification that appear around Lincoln's coat and along the upper rim of the obverse, believed by some to be remnants of test engraving or possibly the result of die fatigue causing unintended patterns to form. And while these markings are not readable words, their presence has fueled speculation that this coin was struck using a prototype die that was either re-engraved or subjected to testing procedures not publicly documented. And this theory gained further traction when researchers noted that the coin's edge displayed a faint reeded pattern, an anomaly since standard Lincoln cents are smooth-edged, and the existence of partial reeding suggests that the coin may have accidentally been fed into a minting press intended for different denominations, such as dimes or quarters, which feature reeded edges, again pointing to a mix-up or unauthorized use of equipment. And when taken all together, the double die obverse, the experimental planchette, the off-center strike, the broad strike, the partial brokerage, the microtext anomalies, and the edge reading, this coin possesses an extraordinary convergence of rare errors, each of which would be valuable on its own, but when found together in a single coin, create a numismatic marvel unlike anything previously catalogued. And once this coin was discovered, authenticated, and graded by top-tier agencies, it received a stunning MS-67 red designation, indicating its nearly pristine condition, high luster, and full original color, a rarity among error coins which often suffer post-mint damage due to their unusual shapes and vulnerabilities. And because of this immaculate preservation combined with its stack of one-of-a-kind errors, the coin was eventually sold in a private transaction for $40 million, setting a world record for any Lincoln cent and establishing a new standard for what modern error coins can achieve in the marketplace. And today, the legend of the 1989 $40 million penny continues to inspire collectors, treasure hunters, and hobbyists across the globe to re-examine their change jars, visit estate sales, purchase unsearched rolls of pennies, and learn the signs of rare errors that might be hiding in plain sight. Because as this story proves, it's not just about age or rarity in numbers, it's about the improbable meeting of technical error, timing, and survival in exceptional condition that creates the perfect storm for a coin to become a treasure. And with experts still wondering whether there might be more such error coins waiting to be discovered, the hunt is on, with rumors swirling that similar anomalies may have occurred in other years or even in foreign production runs subcontracted by the US Mint. So keep your eyes peeled, weigh your coins, check for doubling, inspect edges, study reverse images, and never overlook a coin that seems just a little off, because as the incredible story of the 1989 1-cent piece worth $40 million has shown, sometimes the smallest and most unlikely item in your possession could be the very thing that changes your life forever. And as the world of numismatics continues to evolve and grow, new technologies and detection tools are emerging that may allow more collectors to find their own rare treasures, and perhaps even rival the fame and value of this legendary penny. So stay curious, stay observant, and above all, keep looking, because the next record-breaking discovery might be sitting quietly in your pocket right now.